Holly, Michigan. Our lesson title today is, What is the Abomination of Desolation? A commonly misunderstood subject is the identification of the abomination of desolation. The Bible records a very clear explanation of just who or what the abomination of desolation actually was. The concept of the abomination of desolation is first discussed by the prophet Daniel in the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 26 and 27. This is what the Bible said.
And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
Here we can read how Daniel described the abomination of desolation as an act of war and destruction. Jesus himself refers back to this prophecy of Daniel as a part of his answer to a very important question that his disciples asked. Let's read about it in Matthew chapter 24, verses 1, 2, and 3.
And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
In these verses, the disciples are asking Jesus this all-important question. What would be the sign of the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple, and the sign of his coming and the end of the world or age? Jesus was quick to answer these questions clearly and precisely. He gave them a definite sign to look for, which would signify the beginning of a great tribulation, such had never happened before or would ever happen again. Matthew chapter 24, verses 15, 16, and verse 21, the Bible said this.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee unto the mountains. And then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be.
Notice that Jesus refers to Daniel's prophecy directly linking Daniel's words to the first century generation. This great tribulation was God's judgment against Israel, his covenant people, because they had broken his law and covenant. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 5.
The earth also was defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
In the book of Mark, he records the exact same event in Mark chapter 13, verses 1 through 4, 14, and 19. This is what the scripture said.
And as he went out of the temple, one of his disciples saith unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here? And Jesus answering said unto him, Seest thou these great buildings? There shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privately, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled? But when you shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing where it ought not, let him that readeth understand. Then let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains. For in those days shall be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation which God created unto this time, neither shall be.
In the book of Luke, chapter 21, verses 20 and 21, the scripture said this:
And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Jesus said that when you see Jerusalem compassed or surrounded with armies, then know that the desolation is nigh or near. Here Jesus is giving us a very clear explanation of what the abomination of desolation actually was. The abomination that would make desolate was to be something that would be seen by the inhabitants of Judea and Jerusalem. It was the sign for all Christians to flee into the mountains. Why were the disciples and all of the Christians told to flee out of Jerusalem before AD 70? So that they could escape this great tribulation. The word abomination refers to anything loathsome or detestable, which fits the feelings that the people of Jerusalem would have had towards an idol-worshiping Gentile army such as the Roman armies. History has repeatedly recorded the work of armies which always brings destruction and desolation. Jerusalem was always been referred to throughout the scripture as the holy city and the holy place. In Joel chapter 3, verse 17, the Bible said this:
So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no stranger pass through her any more.
In 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 16, this is what the scripture said:
For now have I chosen and sanctified this house, that my name may be there forever, and mine eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually.
In Matthew chapter 24 and verse 15, this is what the scripture said:
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand.
And in the book of Matthew chapter 27 and verse 53, the Bible said this:
And came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many.
According to prophecy, the Roman army was to surround Jerusalem and bring it to desolation. Since Gentile armies were idol worshippers and always considered abominable, to witness them besieging the holy city, invading their streets, and destroying their temple was truly an abomination. Because of the words of Jesus, when the believers saw the Roman armies surrounding the holy city, they understood that this was the sign which Jesus spoke. They fled into the mountains to avoid this great tribulation that was about to happen. They were able to flee because the Roman armies, they did retreat back to Rome briefly to handle a threat on another border. This is when the believers in Jerusalem obeyed the voice of Jesus and fled the holy city. In Luke chapter 21, verse 24, Jesus said this: until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive unto all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
This happened in the year AD 70, when Jerusalem its temple, and its religion were all destroyed. After his coming in AD 70, no longer were there any Jews or Gentiles, just believers and unbelievers. In conclusion, the abomination of desolation was a warning that Jesus gave to that first century generation about the events that would precede the destruction of the holy city and the temple. Jesus told that first century generation to flee when they saw the abomination of desolation or armies surrounding their city. By fleeing, they would be able to escape the great tribulation which was coming on the city of Jerusalem. The abomination of desolation that was standing in the holy place was the Roman armies that were surrounding the holy city. These Roman armies were heathen idol worshippers, which made them abominable, who came for the purpose of total desolation. It is an historical fact that in the year AD 70 of the first century, that the city of Jerusalem and the Jewish temple were all completely destroyed. Thus, the Roman armies was the abomination of desolation. This concludes our lesson. What is the abomination of desolation? If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. If you enjoy the content of our channel, make sure to subscribe by hitting the bell icon for notification when we upload new videos.